This is a podcast that seeks justice. Justice for the lives stolen by those in society that hide amongst us every day. Hidden in our towns, cities, and countrysides, the places that we work, and sometimes in our very own homes. This is Hidden Killers.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm Tony Bruschi. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to press subscribe wherever you download podcasts so you don't miss any of our breaking updates and discussions on the cases that we are following for you. Today, Bryan Kohberger talking about his firing. We've heard lots of bits and pieces about this, but we actually have the letter and the list of why he was fired. And we're going to go through that today because I don't think we really have. We've talked about it. We've had conversations about it, but let's break this down a little bit. And the fact that it takes a little bit to be fired from a position of teaching assistant. When you're in that position, they want to keep you. They're going to take multiple steps to try and correct your actions or let you know, hey, this isn't quite up to par, because it's a new type of position for a lot of people to be into. And, sometimes there's some growing pains, and they really are willing to give the benefit of the doubt out of the gate to say, hey, let's work on this. And when you keep not working at it and you keep not taking direction and you keep just doing things your own way because you know your way is the right way, things don't tend to work out very well. In general, universities and colleges, they have these formal procedures to address. It could involve giving the TA a warning, a probationary period, which he got. And still, it didn't really work out at all, which seems to be kind of a trend in Kohberger's life from what we know about it thus far. It's not hard to understand if you're a personality type that doesn't necessarily process emotions and empathy and general behavior of those outside of your own mind well. And in most cases, you really feel sorry for people like that because that would be a struggle to live your life. And there are millions of people out there that are like that. You may be like that. You may be going, this kind of sounds like me, but I'm not a killer. You're right. You're not a killer. Most people don't turn into killers when they feel like that, but you do. It's a weird emptiness that sometimes you kind of go through of how are other people reacting to this situation? Okay, I'm going to kind of mimic this. And sometimes you can kind of develop a little bit of that, but sometimes it's just not there. And it's not, fair, I guess you could say, but it is what it is. Sometimes our brains just, not everybody's works the same. But it's a matter of what you do with that, how you cope with that. If you can recognize that in yourself and make coping mechanisms for yourself to not go into crazy, upset, angry, and eventually homicidal tendencies or situations because of the deficiencies in your own mind. Kohberger, well, I think he struggled with that a little bit. So let's go to that letter that was given to him from the Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology, effective December 31st of 2022. So this is more than a month after the murders, by the way. Mr. Kohberger, I'm writing this letter to formally inform you of your termination of your teaching assistantship with the Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology, effective December 31st, 2022, says the letter. In keeping with the WSU Graduate Student Handbook, Chapters 9G2 and 12E3, below is a list of events that led to you being deficient on the following contingency clause of your funding: maintaining satisfactory progress in fulfilling assistantship service requirements and duties. Here's a list of events. And they got to be detailed in this stuff because A, you don't want a lawsuit, and B, well, you just, you can't just fire someone for no reason. You want to let them know, and they did along the way. On September 23rd, 2022, you had an altercation with the faculty you support as TA, Professor Snyder. I met with you on October 3rd to discuss norms of professional behavior. Now, what exactly happened in that altercation? We don't know the details of. Maybe it'll come out in court if they find it to be evidentiary in relating to the murders, in relating to his behavior. Again, this was before the murders took place, though, September 23rd, 2022. On October 21st, Professor Snyder emailed you about the ways in which you had failed to meet your expectations as a TA thus far in the semester. As a result, on November 2nd, Graduate Director Willits and I met with you to discuss an improvement plan, which you agreed to. And I shared with you an email dated November 3rd. So they're sitting there going, okay, professional behavior, you don't seem to quite get this. This is kind of basic shit. But here's a guideline. Here's an improvement plan because we can't just fire you because we don't want to get sued. Remember the days when you could just fire somebody when they were just doing shitty? Remember that? Oh, we can't do that anymore. We met again on December 7th, this time with Professor Snyder as well as Dr. Willits and I to discuss your progress and the improvement plan. While not perfect, we agreed that there was progress. This is December 7th. This is after the murders took place. On December 9th, there was another altercation with Professor Snyder in which it became apparent that you had not made progress regarding professionalism and about which I wrote to you on December 11th requesting a meeting. We then met on December 9th when I informed you of your termination as a TA for the spring semester. So they really gave a lot of chances here. A lot of chances. Some of the things that we have heard reported among the faculty members was specifically his conduct towards women. Now, that's not why he was fired on paper. It was because he failed to meet requirements and expectations of the school. But when you fail to meet requirements and expectations, you know, that's the bureaucracy legalese speak they can't really put on their specific. That kind of is like a coverall statement. Faculty members, though, saying it was his conduct towards women. According to sources, multiple female students complained that Kohberger made them feel uncomfortable. Now, that in itself, not a crime, not a reason to get fired, but what are you doing to make women feel uncomfortable around you? You almost, kind of have to go out of your way a little bit if you're a weird individual. I mean, most people, it's like, just don't be an asshole. Don't be weird. Just, at the least, just shut up. On one occasion, Kohberger was accused of following a female student to her car. Oh, that's lovely. Nothing like an uninvited jaunt to a woman's car behind her. As a man, if you have any sort of empathy or understanding of human beings at all, there's times where you're in just awkward situations, maybe. And if you're not a man, if you're a woman, you can probably relate to this too. Have you ever been in a situation where you're driving home and the person in front of you has been in front of you for like 15 minutes and there's been a lot of turns and you're like, oh my God, this person thinks I'm following them. I'm totally not. I'm just going home. And that can happen in the halls of a school or something as well. I'm not saying that's what happened here because I kind of doubt that's what happened here. But I've had situations like that. But immediately I try to alleviate the situation. If I realize we've made a couple of the same turns together and someone's in front of me, I'll just say, look, I'm not following you. I'm literally just going to my car and just clear it up right away so nobody feels like there's something weird going on. Usually, it's like, okay, cool. And, yeah, don't worry about it. If you want, I'm just going to hang out here for a little. I just don't want you to feel weird. But I'm kind of hypersensitive to that because I don't like people following me either. And if it kind of appears that way, although that's truly not what's happening, rather clear it up right away. I'm guessing Kohberger's not one of those people. And I'm guessing that's probably not exactly what happened here. Following her to her car. And then you can go up to the window, knock on it. Hi, I've been following you. Would you like to go get a Big Mac? Two people familiar with the situation said, imagine if these actions were looked into more. Could they have stopped the alleged killer before he took the lives of 4? Probably not. Because all he'd have to say is, I was going to my car too, or I was going this way or that way. It's one of those things I wish there was more that could be done. I've been talking about this forever. What can we do to stop these people before things actually hit the fan? What would happen as well? We can't really prove anything. We'll keep an eye on him. And they did keep an eye on him. And their action was to fire him. Beyond that, they can't lock him in a room and say, we think you're really creepy around women and we're not going to let you go ever again. Wouldn't that be nice, though? That'd be great. A representative for Washington State University confirmed that Kohberger had been appointed, yes, as the teaching assistant during the fall 2022 semester. So he really didn't even make it past one semester before they said, goodbye. It's been fun. Not really, but you're kind of weird. They declined to provide specific information about Kohberger's teaching assistant role, citing the Federal Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, the FERPA, if you will. Prevents universities from discussing student records, is what is said. Another interesting thing that was noted by several of his students while he was a TA is that he became uninterested in grading assignments. And this happened shortly after the murders. Before, he was apparently a very difficult grader. Somebody you're like, oh, crap, I got to turn this into this asshole. And then after the murders, it suddenly is kind of like, meh. Reports of him being unshaven, looking kind of, disheveled, and not having any interest in grading papers. Was he feeling something? Was he feeling bad? Was he feeling guilt, or was he feeling very anxious that, oh, crap, I left that knife sheath there? What about cell phone pinging? Maybe start second-guessing yourself on a lot of things that you've been doing that maybe will lead to your eventual arrest. And you're just kind of sitting there waiting for that other shoe to drop. They already have identified the vehicle that they're looking for, and you happen to own it. But there's a lot of those, so, what are your odds? Turns out pretty damn good. I'm sure there's a lot of women going, I've had a lot of creepy professors, or I've had a lot of creepy fellow students, or men in general around me like this in life. Not all of them turned out to be murderers, but yeah, should we be able to do something about this? Yes. Yes, we certainly should. The scary thing is, though, once you actually do something about people like this, it's usually a slap on the wrist, or at the most, unless a crime has been committed, a judge gives you a lovely piece of paper, or it gives you both a lovely piece of paper. One confirming that the judge said, yeah, you're kind of creepy. You got to stay away from this person by this many feet. Here's a laser measurer to make sure you're that far away. No, that part doesn't happen. But it's a piece of paper that says, don't follow this person. It's called a restraining order or an anti-stalking order. And the funny thing is about human psyche, if you're the type of individual that's already stalking someone and breaking that societal norm, that piece of paper might make you stalk that person more. That might make you a little angry. That might make you called out. That might make you feel like, oh my gosh, someone is accusing me of this. I have every right to be doing this. She had it coming. And then in a lot of cases, unfortunately, we see things escalate. So it's never really a win for the person that is in these situations. Now, well, why would you do this? Because here's why. And I don't know that it's a perfect answer whatsoever, but somebody may be saying, yeah, well, you're exactly right. What's the point? The point is that if you do get that restraining order or that anti-stalking order or whatever it's called in your area, if that person is picked up again or that person does have another complaint phoned in against them or called against them in some way, shape, or form, that's already there. And then hopefully, should Barney Fife want to do something about it, there's more clout to get it done. It's not just the first time. It's not just it's the first time and nothing, just stay away from each other. There's already that order in place, and then hopefully something can be done. Now, likely what's done next is, you're in jail overnight or two. And then we say, okay, don't do that again. Slap on the pinky, not even the wrist, because we don't want to scare you too much or hurt your feelings. And then they come back out again. And they're even more angry. And then basically we wait till you're dead, and then we write a story about it and go, oh my gosh, if only more could be done. It's true. It's sick and sad and true. Our system sucks. So could more have been done? Sure. Would it have done much? I don't know. Our system's not really set up to do much until shit gets real. That's what I got for you. Press subscribe wherever you download podcasts. You don't miss any of our conversations and discussions on the cases that we are following for you. My name is Tony Bruschi. You can follow me on Twitter at TonyBPod. Until next time, for all of us here, thank you for listening.